The next session we have is promoting anytime, anywhere access and embracing mobile learning and BYOD 1-to-1. In this session, we will try to learn what the vision for the 21st century higher ed institution should be and how you can create and work on one. For this session, I would like to invite Mr. Jawahar Surisetti. Mr. Surisetti, Dr. Surisetti, he's an education advisor to 3 state government and central government. Dr. Surisetti is an eminent educationist, psychologist, and author of the international bestseller Mama and Me, and has launched a movement Think for India, Socho To Jane, which raises cudgels against the current education system and provides children with information, but not with the power of thought. He aims to raise awareness and convince at least 1 crore Indian to join this movement to introduce thinking and education in the coming years. Welcome, Mr. Surisetta. May I have a large round of applause, please?
Good morning, and thank you, Dr. Pant, for a fantastic opening. It's a World Cup season, and opening is important for all teams. But having heard Dr. Pant, it becomes difficult to follow up, and seeing the questions coming in from all the learned people, I think I am having that feeling of Razia fas gayi gundo mein. I'll tell you anytime, anywhere access, and I am talking more about promoting because I think I am not equipped to talk on the technology part more. But I'll tell you why I wanted to speak on this subject. Forgetting about the prelude that he is given as the advisor of the governments, I have been into this anywhere, anytime access to learning because till grade 12 I have not been to school. I was selling idli in the streets of Visakhapatnam due to whatever family reasons, but I had the yearning to learn. So what I would do is from 5 o'clock in the morning when we started off and 10:30 in the night when we stopped washing the dishes and I went to sleep, I would think on whatever people had come to my thela to have idlis, and I would ponder what was the difference in the behavioral patterns, etc., etc. That did a lot of learning for me in the week. Through the weekend, when we had accumulated enough stresses for an 8-year-old child, I would go for a movie, and all the movies that would be released, I would go. Now here, the bring your own device or BYOD that we are talking, for me the BYOD was that thick video cassette that I would bring home and see all movies. Now whenever I counsel students on how to prepare, I use that BYOD that I had brought then, and that is what proves that anytime, anywhere access learning happens, and it happened with me. I am speaking to all of you, sharing my experiences. That means some learning has happened without my going to school. The precise point that Professor Pant made is what has been substantiated by my life. So when I talk about Sholay, most of us have seen. How many of us have seen Sholay? All of us have seen. That's a very good example of what I tell people, that anytime, anywhere access, what does it facilitate? That as a psychologist now I can say that the span of attention of youth in higher education or even school education has decreased. This all of us experience at home. Now, how do we deal with this span of attention? There is a simple formula that we had done during my research at University of Washington, that we had surveyed around 30,000 school and college children, and then came up with a thing that the thumbnail for 93% of youth is double of your age is the span of attention. So if you are 15 years of age, 30 minutes is the span of attention, and your classroom does not cater to that. So like Professor Pant said, 50 minutes of classroom, he is used to that, or all teachers are used to that. Incidentally, he took exactly 50 minutes. So 50 minutes is not made to the span of attention of child, and that is where personalized attention is needed. Now, why I was coming to Sholay is, I say Sleeveless Thakur outsources the killing of, the catching of Gabbar Singh to two gunde. This is the crux of the Sholay. Sleeveless Thakur outsources, in current technological language, he outsources it. And these two gunde are two varied characters. The characters are, one is Jay. How does he operate? He keeps quiet. The longest dialogue in the film is, "Tumhara naam kya hai, Basanti?" He does only one step during Holi. Mouth organ, he is a shy guy, so he does the mouth organ in the night while Jaya Badri is turning off the lanterns. Exactly the opposite of that is Dharmendra, who represents the current day youth, lesser span of attention. So he is doing all things at the same time. वो बसंती को छेड़ रहे हैं टांगे में बैठ के. He is teaching her how to shoot mangoes. He is singing. But at the end of Sholay, the one who catches Gabbar Singh is only Veeru, and Jay has died before he catches Gabbar Singh. So I would prefer that the current youth with a lesser span of attention should go the Veeru smart model. He has all the fun, lesser span of attention notwithstanding, but he achieves his goal at the last moment. So that is what can be achieved by BYOD or 1:1 or personalized learning. This is a very symbolic kind of a thing that I have said. Now this is school 2.0. We don't know what the future is. Now I'll come to a video where we'll show what are the jobs of the future. Current education system does not know what the future holds. Even 5 years from now, we know it from the IT burst. The IT bubble burst. Children who crazily joined, especially in the South, crazily joined IT BE courses. By the time they had come out, the bubble had burst. So they were left without jobs. So we are in a stage of transition where we don't know where we are leading to. And our current education system, the way it is dispensed, I am saying dispensed because it is being dispensed. The way it is being dispensed, we don't know where we are leading to. And if we are saying that we are preparing our children, then probably we should be very sorry. This point has been made by Professor Pant beautifully. Now, while I have said that, what I learned from movies was BOID and 1:1, like he had said, that in a movie all of us learn. There are criminals also in a theater. They learn some things bad. So 1:1 was happening. I learned something good, I suppose. So I gave my exams privately and I got through it. But I was not a part of the schooling system, which said that, and I got good grades, which said that there is something outside the classroom learning which can be done. And this was the point of my research. And that is why I continued with education and said that there is something which, if you don't go to a college or a school, you can achieve. And that is what precisely we are talking of today, that within the 4 rooms of a class, it is not necessary that learning is happening. We need to get out, we need to reach out, and the teacher who is confined to the 4 rooms of the classroom today, due to this background of mine, the US California state asks, what is it new in school education that we can do? Because I don't have a conditioning of a typical teacher or a typical student that I have to do in a classroom. My disadvantage has turned to be an advantage today. Okay, so this is important. The student today is disinterested, span of attention is less, it may be a byproduct of this. The teacher wants to teach in a particular way, the student is not interested. He had said attendance in IIT is dwindling. Basically, one of the reasons is this, that he finds there is no connect to his future to the current status of the classroom. This is what he thinks. Now, this is the teacher may be talking about technology, but he is teaching on the blackboard. So the teacher might know that there is a technology existing, but he is not able to cater to his students' demands. Now the GER is I think again a very tricky situation. Now even if we are reaching towards 20, I am not talking from the government side, but I am talking as an individual, that GER means that only maybe 20 students are reaching to higher education. That 80 is a very difficult figure which we are not talking of at all. Now those 80, if we need to reach them, then these methodologies have to be used. Now I'll come to, all of us have heard Sugata Mitra, I suppose, hole in the wall. Now his experiment clearly proves that you don't need to go into class. He put the computer there in the wall near IIT Delhi, I suppose, and the students from the slums, the children from the slums came, explored, and found that within 2 hours they were operating the computer. So not necessary that we go to the classroom, but access has to be increased. Next. I'll take you to one this thing before we come to this. This is what the child feels today. In Columbia University of New York, I was called as a keynote speaker. This is in 2001 or 2. And very strange thing, the president of Columbia University said a very cursory statement about India. There were around, I think, 1,300 vice chancellors and registrars in that auditorium. And he said that Indian research is mostly cut, copy, paste. And I was the only Indian there. It was addressed to me, I thought. But I wanted to get back to him. So during my keynote speech, I said, what is it that you teach in pre-K in US? So one of the vice chancellors got up and said, 0 to 10 and A to Z. I said, with all your research, this is precisely what we 1 to 10 and A to Z. This is what we teach in India also. But tell me one thing, and I am asking this question to all of you also. If you teach 1 to 10, by the time 1 to 9 is okay, but by the time when you reach 10, you have not taught the 0 to the child. So should we not be teaching 0 to 9 and teaching 1 to 10? Now I am not coming into the academic part of it. I am saying there was no answer that day, and Columbia University gave me $50,000 US to research on what we should teach in pre-K that particular day. The same gentleman who said that research is cut, copy, paste in India ended up giving $50,000. The thing is that our parents have taught us 1 to 10, our teachers have taught to 1 to 10. If we become teachers, we also teach 1 to 10 and A to Z without thinking whether what we have been taught is right or what we have been taught is not right, without thinking. So what Professor Pant made in the last few slides about thinking is what is missing, and that is what is the reason. Instead of we say upgrade syllabus, this do this, do that. The major issue is why corporates don't accept graduates from our schools and colleges or don't find them fit, is because they don't think. And this art of thinking is a huge issue and that can be made up by access to sources outside the classroom, like he said Google, like he said lot of things, he said Duolingo, he said WhatsApp, he said. So sharing of knowledge happening outside the classrooms with access anywhere is going to be the only thing that can process your thinking abilities to a maximum. So this incident that has happened in CUNI I am sharing with you because it becomes very imperative for all of us as teachers to tell our students how to think rather than what is the subject. Or subjective knowledge is there, it's available as he has said in books, but how to think is a major issue. I'll take a small example here. Now suppose I say that you have to buy a car, second-hand car. What are the things that you would look at? What are the basic things you would look at? Maybe the model of the car, fuel efficiency, very important, interior, mileage, Okay, the look at the engine, whether it has been opened or not, and so on and so forth. How many drivers, how many people have driven it, and so on. So the thing is that when we have a selfish issue in buying our own car, we think of a lot of things. But when, as a teacher, when I go to the classroom and teach the student, I don't think what he should think. So the processes are there in our mind, but we don't apply them to our students because we are conditioned not to do it. Finishing the syllabus becomes a very demanding thing for us than, like I say, that ek pura thali de dijiye of the bad tasting food and give only dal chawal. I would prefer good tasting dal chawal. So syllabus completion is that thali, which we think that even if it is of bad taste, we should paroso it. But good khana, or even if it is dal chawal, good learning given to the child is good to eat, good to taste, is what actually we should be doing. But again, our priorities are wrong. This is what I was saying, ki when the span of attention of the child is not catered to in the classroom, then these things like online learning, MOOCs, etc. will supplement. The child will go at his own pace. Personalized learning will take care of all these needs of the child, which a classroom currently is not taking place. Professor Pant has already made a pitch on this, so now gamification is something which we are doing very widely, being used in the US and the UK. India is also coming up very fast. I have seen alumni of IIT doing it. Okay, so gamification is a part of education because it makes learning more enjoyable, and that enjoying learning is what is we are losing out currently. Now I'll go to one last this thing about the tribal education and access to because the last man, the government wants education to reach the last man, and this is where again all these things come in. I went to a tribal village. We do this counseling, and I went to a tribal village. Kya Banoge Munna was the program then, and the one kid got up and he had his hand on his hip and he said, I want to be a terrorist. Everybody was saying doctor, teacher, this, then I want to be a terrorist, and he was like this, standing like this. So the minister was with me, the DEO was there, everybody was there, and everybody started scolding him because minister was there, so they were, so then the child started crying. Now the child started crying. I felt bad. So I said, even if the minister is there, please keep quiet, let me deal with him. Because he has asked me a question, I'll answer it. Now the child came up with a very logical reasoning for why he said that. And that was, he was in grade 11. Till then, government had a system of free computer education for school children till grade 10 for boys and till grade 12 for girls. So there was a differentiation also. So he went to the nearest NIT center in his school and said, I want to do some computer course. I am interested in computer. The NIT center said, see, if you are in 11th, no free, 10,000 rupees you pay, I can teach you. For girls, it is free. So he said, but girls drop out of school in a lot of places. What will they do with this computer education till 12th? Why not for us? He argued. That fellow said, that's government policy, keep quiet. We are not arguing with it. Okay. So he said, my father earns 10,000 rupees a year. How can I pay 10,000 rupees? So what I can do is, I will find out some career where training is free and equipment is free. So terrorism was the only option that he thought where training is free and equipment is free. You can't challenge his argument. And that particular day, the minister realized that boys should also have computer education till 12th. He declared it. But does such an incident spark such thinking, or should we think ahead? Is what I am saying. When we as policymakers, as teachers, as administrators or people from the industry don't think in the direction, all these things will remain on paper in conferences and we will not be able to achieve anything, because only the elite get to know these things. This is not reaching to the lowest of lowest, the people who need them most. So I would, as a personal proponent of this BOID 1:1, I have used all of them. Although I didn't have mobiles, I didn't have computers, but I used all of them. Personalized learning for me was through films. I use them today also in my conferences. Or BOID was my VCD cassette. Bring your own device. I used to bring that, watch movies if I wanted to see them again and again. And that is what life teaches all of us. If we give some life experiences in the classrooms or outside classrooms to students, learning will happen then only, and that is only possible when you give them access to the outer world. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, we'll take them.
Have you given this thought to the government? Because it should start somehow in our system from that place. Of course, it's very important for individuals also that we understand. But there's a duty of the government also to do something about these things. They should understand before anybody else understands these things.
Yes, sir, I agree to what you are saying. But I will tell you that, as Professor Pant said, the government realizes things very late. And my association with the US government was the trigger. The US government understood that there is something in this gentleman, that they made me an advisor there. It is then that the Indian government realized that there is someone in India whom the US government is consulting, and then they came back to me. So I had to go to US to come back to India. It is something like this. So there is a lag, which I can call a jet lag. So somebody coming from US looks greener. So it is taking time, but with Digital India, we are speaking to big companies like Microsoft, Intel, etc., etc. And I am very sure that anytime, anywhere access is going to happen, not in the next year or so, but there is a 5-year plan. We will be reaching to large numbers, and the government is serious about it. But having said that, I have seen the implementation of Mr. Modi in Gujarat, so I am able to comment on this. Otherwise, I would not have dared to say this, that it will happen in 5 years also. Yes, sir. You wanted to ask.
Thanks for giving a very different interpretation, and probably the logical one, that BYOD first is applicable to the teachers. It's not that I force my students to bring a mobile phone. And now what Professor Pant has rightly said, that CBSE or almost every school is afraid of the mobile, you call it scandals will happen then in the school, and the reputation is. And there was a study which was published, that it's applicable on everyone, that if my kid is using mobile phone, as a parent, I'm to be blamed, that I'm not able to inculcate that particular thing in him. Schools will say ki hamara kasoor nahi hai. Now, if I'm teaching in higher education, I'm with Amity University. There was a class of around 70 students doing honors economics. I asked them, you people are going for holidays for Diwali, why do we celebrate it? One person. 70 students, one person, almost everyone from the convent, because if Amity is there, then we believe that these are not the poor people who are educated with culture. The reply was, there was a king who went to Lanka. So he came back, and we celebrate Diwali when a king returns. I said, okay, fine. I said, if Modi goes to Sri Lanka, when he comes back, tab bhi Diwali hoga? He said, yes. So this is what we know about culture. Now, we have got MOOCs about agriculture. We don't have MOOCs about, you call it communication skills, or what exactly this thing is. School education, which we believe is till 18th or 16th, though I believe it is, it starts with the 12-year of age, the moment you take hold of a mobile phone. It is higher education, the moment you step out of the session planning thing, micro-teaching and macro-teaching. Now, school teaching doesn't allow mobile phones. At graduation level, higher education, I'm supposed to do it. So how to remove that gap? Because they have been stopped from using it. They use it in the class and they hide it here. So I told them, bring it out on the desk, put it. You want to use the mobile phone? Read the text which is prescribed. Open everyone. You have got a free Wi-Fi in the campus? Do this. But not many teachers are confident of it, because then the vigilance department in every private university is there, which is peeping inside, say, students are found using mobile phones. So how a teacher can get confident about that BYOD? I
See-
take those
Okay.
BYOD with me, but
the psychology of a teacher, there is a generation gap, which the first slide said. Maybe he might say something else, but the basic factor is that he feels that he is above the student in a particular knowledge level. But in the case of gadgets, he is not confident he is ahead of the students. So he doesn't want to encounter students in an area where he is deficit of knowledge. This is one. This is one. The second thing that you are saying is a conditioning of a student not to use mobile phones in the classroom in school, whereas in higher education, if he is asked to do that, we've done an experiment here. We've used iPads. Apple has sponsored this. 24 iPads, and students are asked to do one assignment on whatever they have learned. Today maths, tomorrow whatever. So suppose Akbar they are teaching. Now Akbar, if I say Akbar was born in the traditional methodology that we have been using in schools, Akbar was born 40 minutes it will happen. One way it has gone. Humayun, this Battle of Panipat, this, finished. 2 questions, end of the chapter. They will appear in the exams, you answer. Now suppose I say, the question is, suppose you were Akbar, and what would you have done to have avoided the Battle of Panipat? The student is applying whatever knowledge has been taught to him in class. He has to apply his reasoning. Now this is where what we do is we give iPads, and on a Saturday, one subject every week in a government school, we ask them to research. He uses, this is from grade 6 onwards. So he uses it, and this is on a sharing basis. So this is known as a research day on Saturday. He researches it and comes up with a paper which he presents with the iPad. There is an Apple TV there. So we are trying to change the conditioning at school level itself, so that one, he starts using BOIDs, and second is that he is used to researching or thinking on a subject outside the textbook. 2 things. Now what you have said now is not in sync with the exam system. Like, I am not allowed to use mobiles in schools, but IIT exam can be taken online. So there is a mismatch between the two. Until we sync both of them, it will not be possible to. What I'll do is, since we are running short of time, yeah.
College or in the school. I mean, we are just looking at one aspect of it, the learning aspect of it. Please remember, the teenagers, they have lots of distractions, and the mobile or such devices are used more often for other purposes than for learning purposes. That is one of the reasons why CBSE has banned the use
I agree
of.
to what you are saying. I agree to what you are saying, but with technology, we can block whatever other activities and ask them to
New
limit.
sites
That
keep
is
coming.
possible. That is possible.
New sites always keep coming. We have tried it in our college. We restricted lots of sites. Still, students are a step ahead and find new places.
See, that is what is supposed to be used if they are ahead. Thank you very much. Anyway, we are running short of time. My email address is jawar4@yahoo.com. And you can do a Google search on my name. You will find a lot of resources. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such a lovely session. I would like to call Shantanu to felicitate sir on behalf of EdTech Review and our partners.